Hello students, this is Coach Holliday. In today's lesson we're going to look at how to write the equation of a line in slope-intercept form. This is a continuation of our lesson from yesterday where we looked at writing the equation of a line in point slope form. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is we're going to look at this first thing where it says write the equation of the line in the graph in point slope form. So if you look over here at the graph, alright, point slope form, remember I need a slope and I need a point, my x1 and y1. Okay, so let's take that out of the equation. We'll just use this point right here. That point is 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. So it's a point 4, 3. My slope, if I start here, I'm going to go down 1, negative 1, and over 1, 2, 3, 4. So my slope is negative 1/4. So let's write the equation, plug in what we know. I'm going to write y minus y1, which will be my 3, equals, the slope is negative 1/4 times x minus my x1 is actually 4. Alright, so now that's our equation in point slope form. Now I want to change this form and I want to solve it and get just the y by itself. So let's go ahead and do that. So let's solve it to get y by itself. So to get y by itself, first I'm going to distribute this 1/4 and I get y minus 3 equals negative 1/4 x. Negative 1/4 times negative 4 is positive, and 1/4 times 4 is just 1. My next step I'm going to do is I'm going to add 3 to both sides, plus 3 and plus 3. Those cancel and I get y equals negative 1/4 x plus 4. And that's the equation I get when I put that into y equals form. Now let's talk about what each of those things mean, okay? Where did this negative 1/4 come from? Well, that negative 1/4, that's just our slope. If you remember, that was our slope in the problem. The 4, let's look at the 4. The 4, if you look over here at the graph, the 4 is actually where my line crossed the y-axis. It crossed at 1, 2, 3, crossed at that point, 0, 4. Alright, we call that number because it is where my line crosses the y-axis. We call that our y-intercept. Or we use the letter B. We call this form of an equation when it's y equals form, we call that slope-intercept form. So let's write over here what the definition of slope-intercept form is. Slope-intercept form of a linear equation is the equation y equals m is our slope times x plus this number b, which we're going to call our y-intercept. So m is the slope and b is where it crosses the y-axis, or we call that the y-intercept. So now let's go ahead and look at these examples. Okay, the first example says what are the slope and y-intercept of the graph of the linear function y equals 2x minus, y equals 5x minus 2. So we're trying to find the slope and the y-intercept out of our equation. Remember, if I look at y equals mx plus b, and I look at my equation, that's y equals, there's my mx plus b. So my m, or my slope, is the number 5, and my b, or my y-intercept, is the number negative 2. So my slope is 5, and my y-intercept, or my b, is -2. Easy as that, okay? Okay, let's look at example 2 now. Example 2 says to write the equation in slope-intercept form of the line with a slope of -4/5, that's the slope, and a y-intercept of 7. So let's write down our equation. The equation for slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. The two things we need to fill in are the b and the m. The m is our slope. Well, we have our slope. The b is our y-intercept. We have our y-intercept. So all we got to do is plug those things in. So I'm going to plug. I have y equals, my slope is -4/5, and then I'm going to put the x next to it, plus my y-intercept is 7, so I'm going to write the 7 there. And there's the equation in slope-intercept form. Easy as that. Alright, question or example 3, what's the graph of y equals 2x minus 1? So remember, when I look at the equation in slope-intercept form, I'm going to do something here real quick, get this out of the way. Alright, when I look at the graph, or when I look at the equation, y equals 2x minus 1, remember, this is in the form of y equals mx plus b. So let's list what the m and the b are. The m is 2, that's our slope, 2. And since we want it as a fraction when we graph, I'm just going to put it over 1. And our y-intercept, or b, is -1. Now, I got to think about which one of these is a point. Is the slope a point, or is the b a point? Well, the b is a point. It's the y-intercept. So I'll graph that first on my graph. -1 is the b, so I'll come to -1 on the y-axis. So -1 is my y-intercept. And then I'll use my slope. Remember, slope is rise over run. And I'll start at that point, and I'll do my rise over run. Rise 2, run 1. Put a point there. Rise 2, run 1. Rise 2, run 1. And then I'll just draw a line through those points. And the way I can't draw them perfectly straight on this tablet I'm using, but use your straight edge to draw that line perfectly straight. That was a pretty bad line, actually. All right, we've got one more example. Write the equation in slope-intercept form. Slope-intercept form of the line that passes through 2 points. All right, so remember, slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. The two things I have to have as numbers are the m, which is the slope, and the b, which is a y-intercept. I didn't give you either of those, so I'm going to show you another way of doing this. We're going to actually put this in point-slope form and then convert it to slope-intercept form. So remember, point-slope form, I have to have the slope first. So we'll do slope m equals delta y over delta x. So I'll subtract my y's, 1 subtract -8 over subtract my x's, 2 subtract 5. And when I do that, remember, keep change. So I get 9 over keep change, -3. So my slope is 9 over -3, or it's just -3. 9 divided by -3 is -3. Now I'm going to use my point slope form. Remember, y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. And plug in what I know. Y minus, I'm just going to use the first point. Y minus 1, because the 1 is, there's my x1, y1, equals, my slope is -3, times x minus x1, my x1 is 2. And now what I'm going to do, what I did up here at the very beginning of the video, I'm going to distribute in this -3, so I get y minus 1 equals -3x. -3 times -2 is a positive 6. The last step is I'm going to add 1 to both sides to get my y by itself. And I get y equals -3x plus 7. And there's my equation in y in slope-intercept form. Y equals negative 3x plus 7. And that's it for our video.